Hello everyone, Melody here with Homeschool Happy Hour. The first thing you might notice about today's video is that my background is a little bit unconventional compared to my normal videos. Normally I have a nice space and I consider what my background looks like, but I did this on purpose because today's video is going to be about how to have a clean home and be a homeschool family in a family of 6, sometimes 7. Stick with me and I'll explain it all a little bit more. Before we go any farther, please take a minute to like and subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Instagram at Homeschool Happy Hour and follow along for future videos about our family, homeschool life, parenting, motherhood, life in general. So today's video was inspired by a conversation that I was having with a friend the other day, and I was really surprised to find out, today's video is inspired by 2 things. 1, a conversation that I was having with a friend of mine the other day, and 2, a book that I just finished reading. First, I'm reading this book, and I'm listening to this book because it was an audiobook, and I can't quote it exactly because I'm not going to go back through the audio to try and find the right chapter, but essentially she was saying if you have a clean home, that's a sign that something needs to change in your homeschool, because a messy home is a sign of a good homeschool. And friends, I did finish listening to that book, and there were a lot of good things in that book. But that one particular chapter where she was talking about how you shouldn't make your children do chores and you should just accept that you're going to have a messy home if you're going to have a good homeschool, it really it irritated me. I was bothered by that because I keep a very clean home. That's why I was showing you the other room. I was showing you this room. This is just generally what our home looks like. Of course, we have a home of 6, so it gets messy, it gets cleaned, it kind of goes back and forth. But my husband and I find having a clean home to be the healthiest environment for all of us, physically, mentally, socially, all of those things, and we think it's good for our kids too. So, how do we do that? And why do I think it's important? I'm skipping ahead. Back up. First, she's talking about how you can't have a clean home and be a good homeschool. I took exception to that because I tend to think we are good homeschoolers and I have a clean home. Well, not very long after listening to that book, a friend of mine was talking about how there were some parents that were intimidated by the fact that I kept a clean home. They didn't want to invite me to their homes because their homes weren't as tidy as mine, thinking that I was going to judge the cleanliness of their homes. And frankly, I don't care. I mean, I keep my home clean. We keep our home clean because that's how we like our space to be. But I don't care if another family has a clean home or a messy home. I'm organized. I tend to keep things tidy. Those are one of my strengths. I don't spend enough time doing arts and crafts and freestyling and being hands-on and doing that kind of stuff. In my opinion, I don't spend enough time on those things. I want to spend more time. But another family, they might have a messy home and be all in on the arts and crafts and freestyling and those kinds of things, but maybe they wish they had a cleaner home, or maybe they wish they had more structure. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But it doesn't matter to me. It's their space and they need to be happy in their space. And if they want to make a change, they should make it for themselves and not for anybody else. Just like I'm making some adjustments for myself and for my kids and not for other people. So hopefully that rant made sense to you. But I digress. I think that it is absolutely possible to have a clean home and a happy home and a positive homeschool all at the same time. Those things are not mutually exclusive, You don't have to give up one in order to have the other. As I mentioned earlier, we're a family of 6, sometimes 7. That sometimes 7 comes from the exchange student that we sometimes have in our home. A couple years ago, we had an exchange student that put us at 7. This coming year, we have another exchange student coming. Yay, I'm super excited about that. That puts us at 7 again. Our kids, our youngest is 9, then 11, 14, 17, and then our exchange students are usually between the ages of 16, 17. So we do have older kids, and that makes a huge difference. My home was not quite this tidy when the kids were younger, but it was still pretty tidy. From a very young age, I worked with the girls to learn to pick up after themselves. It wasn't a taboo thing. It wasn't a punishment. It wasn't a bad thing. It's just what we did. It was part of the habit in our home. You get out your toys, and when you're done, you put them away. Not complicated. Did it take some effort to do that? Absolutely. It took effort because no kid in the world, 1, 2 years old, is naturally inclined to pick up after themselves. And so there was a lot of parenting. There was a lot of training and teaching to help them to learn to do that. At this point, do they still leave things behind? Absolutely they do. And do I sometimes pick up after them? Sometimes, but normally I have them pick up after themselves. Are they always happy about that? No, they're not always happy about that. Does it destroy our relationship because I sometimes ask my kids to, hey, come get your shoes? No, it does not. Our relationship is not going to be, it won't make or break our relationship depending on whether or not I ask my kids to pick up after themselves. If you want a clean home, delegate. Delegate, delegate, delegate. I am only one person. I have a lot going on. I am not a maid. I am not here to serve the people in my household from dawn till dusk and not ask them to participate. So we all participate. We've done everything. We've had chore charts. We've had chore wheels where it adjusts week to week. At this point in time, we just have just a summer chore list. They have a couple things that they do. And as long as we maintain and do it step by step and are just in the habit of picking up as we go along, our house stays clean without a lot of effort. One day a week, we do have a house cleaning day where we do the big chores. Somebody cleans the bathroom, somebody cleans the kitchen, and does like a deep cleaning of that. But honestly, when we all jump in and do it together, it's super easy to get that done quick and easy in the morning, and then we can move on with our day and have other things to do. If it was just me cleaning up after everyone in our house, that's what I would be doing constantly. And I feel like this gives the kids responsibility. It teaches them to appreciate the space that they're in. It teaches them healthy life habits. And I've also noticed that it teaches them to respect other people's spaces, because I've noticed that when I do go places with other kids, my kids are usually the ones taking care of the space and cleaning up after themselves, while maybe other kids they're just oblivious to that. I totally reject the concept that young children are not capable. Well, they're just kids and they don't know any better. If that's the case, they don't know any better just because nobody's ever taught them, not because they're not capable of doing it. And if that's not a priority in your home, that's fine. It's understandable that your kid wouldn't know the difference, but it's not because they can't. It's just that wasn't one of your priorities, and that's really okay. Just like having a clean house is my priority, maybe your priority revolves around something else that takes your time up, that doesn't allow you to spend time doing house cleaning because you don't feel like it, and that is totally fine. I'm pretty sure this video is turning into a rant, and I don't know how to make it different than that, so we're just gonna go with the rant. My point is, if you want a clean home, you can have a clean home. If you have questions about that, or you guys want more detailed videos on how to create those habits with your children and how to create those habits within yourself, let me know. I will do that. Right now, I'm just saying, basically, I am saying, let's just respect each other. There is no one right way to do things as a parent, as a homeschooler, as a human being. I never in my whole life thought that I would have a situation where I would be criticized because of the cleanliness of my house. And I imagine that if I criticize somebody else due to the lack of cleanliness of their house, that would reflect badly on me. That's not the type of person I'd want to be. And doing that to me for the opposite reason is really the same thing. It's just the opposite side of that same coin. So let's treat each other with respect and understanding, and assume that we are all doing the best we can with what we have, what we know, and what our priorities are, and that those priorities are probably going to be different. No two homes are exactly the same. We're going to have different priorities, and that is going to have different results. So I think my rant is over. That's what we got. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time.